All right, I think we're safe. Hey, it's Jack again. So, now, I'm sorry, there's a dog barking in the background that just freaking won't shut up.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I just revealed my location. Forget what I just said. Okay, so what we're talking about today is something called FedNow. If you don't know what FedNow is, you gotta start doing your research. But I'm gonna give you some of the scoops because my source is telling me this is something we gotta pay attention to. It's coming out July of this year, 2023. So what is it? Well, it's a new money transfer system, a high-speed, lightning-fast money transfer system created by the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States. I know, bank. We all know what it really is. But anyway, now, in all fairness, this is something that we've needed for a long time. We've needed a faster way to transfer and move money out there around the world in the marketplace, back and forth, here and there, okay? It's something we've needed, but we just don't want it to be created by the Federal Reserve. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is in bed with the government. They're having Mai Tais, having a good time, and we don't like it. So we don't want something from the Federal Reserve. We want it to come from somewhere else, a private entity of some sort, even though Federal Reserve is kind of private, but come on. We could go on and on about that. But it's a lightning fast payment transfer, money transfer system, okay? And here's what my source is telling me, okay? That this is going to be like a precursor. This is how they're going to kind of get us into bed with the government, all right, through central bank digital currencies. Now, this is something that's going on around the world. Okay, you got the Russias, you got the Chinas, you got all these big countries that are talking about creating these central bank digital currencies. Now, why would they want to do that? Well, maybe control for one. I don't know. Look, governments are in debt like crazy, like public debt. Okay, the national debt of the United States is up like 31 something trillion. Okay, we got Congress getting ready to duke it out to raise the debt ceiling, which we'll talk about what the debt ceiling is in another video, okay? But we got limited time because we want to stay safe here. But here's the thing: you got these digital currencies, right? And maybe this is a way of maybe this is the Great Reset. To me, I think the Great Reset is a debt reset because everybody, we're all just going into crazy amounts of debt. Everything you see when you're driving around, everything you have, everything you own, everything that's created that you can see is debt. It's all been funded by debt. And we just can't keep going there. We won't survive another pandemic. We can't keep sending billions and billions and trillions of dollars to people so that they can survive a pandemic. We're just printing money like crazy. We just can't sustain it. So perhaps digital currency is part of this big debt reset. Who knows? I like to listen to my source. You listen to yours. Hopefully I'm one of your sources. But anyway, this FedNow thing could be this precursor to a digital currency that we're all forced to use. Now, why is that a bad idea? Well, let's check out what's going on in China. All right? China. Okay? Now, China has been implementing for a while, and they've been testing this out just a little bit at a time. And that's how governments work, right? They don't try to pounce on us all at once and implement all kinds of massive control over the people. It's a little bit at a time. It's the frog in the boiling pot analogy, right? So how does that go? If you boil a pot of water and you throw a frog in there, well, it's just going to die almost instantly, right? But if you stick the frog into a lukewarm or room temperature pot of water, and then you crank up the heat and it slowly rises to a boil, that frog's just going to sit in there loving it like it's in a hot tub or something. Give it something to drink, give it a little snack. It doesn't care. But then it's going to end up boiling, and then it'll kill the frog. And then we're kind of like the frogs out there, right? So the government's sticking us into this pot of nice lukewarm water or whatever, and we're having a good time together, and it's cranking up that heat just a little bit at a time. Temperature's raising a little bit, and we're just tolerating it. We're just tolerating it. And then eventually we're not going to be able to, and then there's nothing we can do about it. Okay? That's what's happening. And I believe that's what's happening with China's social credit system. So what is that? Well, it's a system of control to keep people in line. So just long story short, and to make it as simple as possible, let's say that every month you start out with like 100 credits, okay, or 1,000 credits, right? And you can lose credits, but you could also even earn some. But you can lose credits by forgetting to do things like not visiting your aging parents regularly. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Is that a real thing? You get docked credits and points if you don't visit your aging parents, or if you get a traffic violation, if you say something online that the government doesn't like. All of these things can interrupt your life. So like, let's say, I mean, this is a goofy example, but it's like, you start losing these credits and you go into the negative. Well, like, what if you want to go see a movie? Well, now you can't go see a movie at the best times with the right seats that you know, recline and are comfy, and then you get like warm soda instead of a cold one. Now I know that's a silly example, but that's kind of how it is, right? So you've got this credit system, and it's all based on your actions and the way that you believe, and towing the government line, right? It's insane. But how can they do that? Well, start issuing a digital currency. Withdraw, like pull cash out of the markets. Just no more cash. Everybody has to use a digital currency that's issued by the central bank. Now you've got all kinds of control, right? You don't go visit your aging parents. Well, guess what? You don't get to go shopping for 24 hours. Your money's no good. Your digital currency, then just chop it off like that, right? And the other thing is, here's the thing, like in the United States, if we implement something like this, and my source tells me that we're in the boiling pot, we're in the pot of water right now, okay? Look at Facebook slaps. Facebook slaps you for 24 hours for using the word fight or choke, but it might not be in the context that they think it is. Their stupid little bots and algorithms are, you know, taking advantage of everything that we say. But you say the wrong thing that it doesn't understand the context, and you're banned for 24 hours or 30 days, right? That's the implementation. That's the slow boiling. That's the slowly getting to the boiling point of this social credit system. Now, I could be way off. I really hope that I am. I want to be wrong about all of this, but there's just too much evidence out there and the way things have gone. And we know that the ultimate power of government is control. And it's the nature of government to get bigger and bigger and grow, and just the bigger it gets, the more control that it wants. That's just the nature of it. The founding fathers knew that. That's why they wanted to keep government as small as possible. They wanted to keep power with the states so that the states had control over the government. But, you know, we lost that with the 16th and 17th Amendments and all kinds of other bills that have been crammed down our throats for forever, right? Okay, but I see, and my source tells me that these central banks, digital currencies, are like a precursor to work hand in hand with a social credit system. Who knows when that's going to be implemented? I don't know, but we know that FedNow is coming out in July of this year. So something to think about. Would love to know your thoughts behind it. If you think I'm just too much of a conspiracy theorist, you want to tell my source to go to hell, you know, whatever it is, open to hearing all kinds of ideas. All right. Anyway, Jack here, happy to report the truth, and gotta go.